Why are you doing this?
I'm doing this because I'm absolutely terrified of what's coming down the road, and I did the democratic process and nothing happened, and now I feel totally desperate. That's why. I'm terrified, effectively, that's why.
So you don't believe in democracy?
Oh, I do believe in democracy, but I tried all of the stuff I'm supposed to do. My MP doesn't actually get back to me ever anymore, so I'm just doing whatever I felt I had the power to do.
Why not set up a political party?
Do you really think that that would work if I set up a political party and tried to get into power?
That's how democracies work.
Yeah, I understand that.
And then you can change the laws.
Yeah. You're asking me why I didn't set up a political party.
Well, I'm just trying to...
We're in an emergency. You started the segment of the show saying so-called climate emergency.
Correct.
The fact that you think it's acceptable to say so-called emergency is deeply concerning to me and a lot of people. Like, I'm 27 years old and I have to live this future that we're going towards, and I just feel like not enough is being done. So there's a lot of people that are non-violently.
You need to be a lot less terrified. I'm actually an environmentalist. I grew up in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And as a young boy, I was told constantly and consistently by hysterical folk that my country was going to be wiped out because of the ozone hole. The brilliant humanity and development that we are as human beings changed all of that because we changed our behaviours, we changed science. And the same thing's going to happen here. But constantly saying that we're not doing enough in this country is wrong. We are leading the developed world. We have a plan to get to net zero, but you must understand, you can't bankrupt the country doing it.
We're not trying to bankrupt the country. This is the thing I'm trying to explain. It's like, we can't afford not to do this. If we don't do this, we know what the future looks like. Did you see the Chatham House report that came out on the 14th of September? It said we have a 95% chance of going over 2 degrees of warming. And 2 degrees of warming is 1 billion people will be displaced. Like, it's literally like Mad Max is what's going to happen.
How does blocking the M25 do?
It gets you on GBNews, and I can speak to people, and I can speak to you, and I can raise the alarm. And I am so terrified right now to be here. This is a really unnatural environment. I just want to get on and live my life. But I have to do things I'm scared of, and we all have to do things we're scared of if we're going to make the change we need to make. And I know you're going to ask me about terrorism and the people that you see on the roads. I know that your viewers, in their hearts, know that they're not terrorists. They're just desperate people that have got nothing to lose. I'm sorry, I'm shaking.
Well, if you look at the definition of the Terrorism Act, the 2000 Terrorism Act, what you are doing represents every single aspect of that act.
I'm just not sure how it helps anyone to paint us as terrorists, apart from maybe the government to not give us what we want, which is insulation, which is such a no-brainer thing. It's basic.
You are threatening violence and criminal behaviour.
It's all non-violent.
Well, it's not non-violent. You've caused strokes. You've potentially caused a near-fatal car accident. It's not non-violent.
Yeah, I can feel the outrage. I really do, and you're right. It's dangerous, but it's just a fraction of what is coming down the road. That's what I can't communicate to people, is that it's bad. It's really bad. But what is coming further down the line is that all of the time. And
do you think that these terrorist actions are getting the British public on your side?
I think it's less about getting people on our side. I would hope that most people agree with the demand, which is to start reducing carbon emissions immediately.
You have a much more specific demand than that.
Yeah.
You are demanding that the government pay to insulate all social housing by 2025. And according to a Mail on Sunday undercover investigation into Insulate Britain over the weekend, you will, quote-unquote, unleash hell. Unleash hell on the British public if Boris Johnson doesn't give in to your demand. Do you not understand? That's the action of a terrorist group. If you were Muslim extremists, you would all be locked up if you were behaving that way.
I mean, we're not Muslim extremists, but we are doing this over and over again, and they are quite welcome to lock us up. We are far less afraid of anything that they can do to us than what is coming down the road. And I know I keep saying it, but that's because It's true. And yeah, I think they should lock us up, they should charge us, and they should throw everything that they can. And that's what people are saying that they want, so they should go ahead and do that.
Have you thought about the consequences of the action that you're causing to Brits?
As in the daily disruption? Yeah, it's awful. It's terrible.
Do you agree with your leader, or one of your founders, Roger Hallam, who says that he would not move? He would not move even if there was an ambulance waiting to get through the roadblock with a dying person inside.
I haven't heard the full interview, but
OK, well, we've got it, so let's have a look at it
Okay.
and I'll get you to react off the back.
I'd stay there. You would? Yeah. And if it were an ambulance and there was someone that could potentially die in there, would you stay there? Yeah.
Gabby Ditton, would you stay there?
No, Insulate Britain has a clear blue lights policy, so that's his personal opinion. But if he was on an Insulate Britain action, he would move, because I hope he would.
So yeah, you would move for an ambulance?
Yeah, absolutely, I would, yeah.
Why did you not move for the woman who was trying to get to her mother in hospital?
Because that's not an ambulance.
Why did you not move for the woman who had had a stroke and was desperately trying to get to hospital?
You're missing the point, Dan. We're getting into, like, stuff that's not...
I'm not missing the point. I'm not missing the point. If that was one of your relatives, if that was one of your relatives who nearly died as a result of the Insulate Britain movement because you didn't move to allow that car to get through, do you not think that that would be a big issue?
Sorry, I'm frustrated because, yes, it's bad. I understand that people are disrupted and people have been held up in this way. But, again, it's
not about people being held up. You're making it out as if it's about someone being late to work. And you know that that's not what it's about, Gabby. It's about people missing potentially life-threatening surgery.
I hate it. I do. I don't have anything else to say. I would absolutely move for an ambulance, yeah.
No, but I'm not just talking about an ambulance, because the woman who was in the car who had suffered the stroke was in her son's car.
If you're this upset about this one person that's trying to get to the hospital, why are you not upset about the 95 people that are going to die every day this winter because of fuel poverty? Like, if you're going to be outraged about that, which is fair, please apply your outrage to other situations, like...
I'm outraged about a lot. I'm outraged about a lot.
But why are you
I talk about it on the show every single night. But I'm focusing on your organisation because I have you in front of me. And if this was one of my relatives, if this was one of my friends who had been caused with life-threat... Well, it's more than rubbish, isn't it?
It's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking.
Well, it's actually criminal. It's criminal. And I think what you're doing is so selfish.
What's criminal is the government pushing us above 2 degrees. That is actually criminal and breaking their own laws. Yet why are we not talking about that? The government should be in court for betraying this whole country. And I'm not going to swear, but I was going to swear because I'm that angry. They've betrayed every single one of the British people by putting global warming below 2 degrees. But it's a death sentence.
So you're not happy...
And we're still focusing on people in traffic jams on the M25.
You're not happy with the plan to get to net zero by 2050. You say it's not soon enough.
We have to go as soon as possible. What we do, Sir David King, Chief Scientific Advisor to Blair and Brown, said what we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity. We have to go as quickly as possible. We need a wartime effort. And I believe, the reason I do this is because I believe we have it in us, in this country, to come together and sort this issue out. I passionately believe that, and I think it would do the world of good. It would just be incredible, and I believe we can do it.
But I've asked you specifically about the issue. I've asked you specifically about what you want to talk about, which is the government's plan to get to net zero. And I'm asking you if you believe that we can get there before 2050 without bankrupting the country.
I believe we can do amazing things if there is political will and we work together, is what I believe.
Can I ask about your property?
I live with my partner. I don't have my own property.
OK, well,
But again, why are we talking about my property?
We've looked into where you live, according to the documents that have been filed, and you only have an energy rating of D.
I don't even know what address you've got. I've moved house quite a lot. It doesn't even... Again, why are we talking about...
Well, you were arrested and it was the address that was...
Code Red for Humanity, IPCC report, and we're talking about the place that one of the places I've lived. Like,
have you properly insulated your own home?
The place I'm living at the moment, I believe it's properly insulated, but I'm not sure. Like...
Do you not
Code Red for Humanity.
Do you not understand how ridiculous that sounds, Gabby? There's no point just repeating the same catchphrase over and over again. Do you not understand how ridiculous it sounds that you are literally stopping people getting to hospital appointments and potentially causing deaths because you want the government to insulate everyone's home, but you haven't properly insulated your own home?
For what it's worth, I do believe the place that I am living at the moment has proper insulation. I don't know what address you have down for me. I would rather you don't read it out on the news.
No, and I'm not going to do that, but it has an energy rating of D.
OK, but I don't know what address you've got. I lived in many houses. I've moved a lot.
I presume when you were arrested, you gave the correct address to the authorities, which is how we have procured your address. OK,
that is not my address at the moment.
Okay.
I have moved very recently, but again,
okay.
Like,
so in the previous place,
billions of people are going to die, and you're talking about a place that I live in, what the insulation is like.
Do you not believe in any form of personal responsibility?
Absolutely, I believe in personal responsibility.
Then surely, if you're shutting down roads and you're propagating that the government should spend billions and billions of pounds to insulate all social housing in the UK, at the very least, your personal responsibility, given you work and you have a job, is to properly insulate your own property. That, to me, sounds like absolute common sense.
So you wouldn't listen to anybody that has not done that as an essential first step?
Well, I think you're a group of hypocrites, because I've had Liam Norton on this show as well, who hasn't properly insulated his house. He has an energy rating of E. And I just think you're going to lose all credibility with the British public if you're asking the government to do something that you are not prepared to do yourself. It's do as I say, not as I do. And I think that's something that's so bad with extreme environmentalists or eco-terrorists. You don't practice what you preach. You travel around the world.
And, you can't expect us to, live off-grid in a mud hut, never use electricity, never do this, never do that. That's unfair. I'm a normal person.
Your group is called Insulate Britain.
Yes.
And you don't live in a properly insulated property.
I'm pretty sure I do now, but it's why are you focusing on that? It doesn't make sense to me. It feels disingenuous. I'm struggling to understand why we can't get past this.
Because I believe in personal responsibility. And I believe that if you genuinely think this is the way to stop the destruction of the world, which is what you've literally just told me...
I don't think it's the way. I think it's an essential first step. Then you would have the personal responsibility
to pay your own money to insulate your own home properly. That's the sort of society that I believe in. I wouldn't ask all of Brits to do something that I wasn't prepared to do myself. And I certainly wouldn't go and sit in the middle of the road, stop ambulances going through, cause car accidents, cause misery for the British people without following through myself.
It would be something else. It would be the plastic on my shoes, the polyester in my dress. It would be something else.
No, because
to make me different to other people.
You're specifically campaigning to insulate the houses of Britain.
Yes, OK, but again, even it...
And you don't even know if the property that you're living in is insulated.
I'm pretty sure it is.
But you don't know?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.